Hey, we're thinking for a day or two in daily Bible time about church. Isn't it going to be great when we're back together again? It's Dominic Steele here. It's Wednesday morning. And first thing that I want to say is that there needs to be a vertical in church. The presence of Jesus is what distinguishes, is what defines Christian gathering. Church is a gathering. I mean, you could have a football gathering, you could have a legal gathering, but for it to be a Christian gathering, Jesus must be present. If church is not focused on Jesus and on relating to Jesus, if Jesus is not at the centre, if when we meet we're not about relating to Jesus and engaging with Jesus, then we might as well go home. Colossians chapter 3 verse 1, since then you have been raised with Christ. Set your hearts on things above, where Christ is seated at the right hand of God. Verse 2, set your minds on things above, not on earthly things. Now, if we are Christian, we've been raised with Christ. Therefore, we're to set our hearts and minds on the things above. We need to be heaven-centered. We need to be God-centered. We need to be Christ-centered. Our heart is set, our mind is set, our all of life needs to be set on Christ. Or you could go and flick back and look at Romans chapter 12 verse 1, where Paul writes, therefore I urge you, brothers, in view of God's mercy, to offer your bodies as living sacrifices, holy and pleasing to God. This is your spiritual act of worship. See, God has been merciful for us. Therefore our bodies, our lives should be offered to God, holy and pleasing. That is worship. The whole of life dedicated to God in gratitude for what God has done for us. Now, everything we do for God. Church is not the only place where we worship God. You should be worshiping God in everything, in every place, in every time. Our gratitude to God and our life lived for Him, that should impact the way we live with the people that we live with. That should impact the jobs that I choose to accept, the way that we choose to do those jobs. But that view of God's mercy also impacts what we do when we meet together as a gathering in church. See, I think sometimes people like me have sometimes put the emphasis over there that worship is all of life, and sometimes we fail to say worship involves and includes what we do when we gather together. But worship is all about how you treat each other. It's about how you treat your mother, but it is also about how we meet together. We must be concerned that our meetings are dominated, characterized by the worship of God. It should not be our aim to have meetings that feel like we're gathering with each other, but God is away. We are at church to meet and engage with the living God. Thanks for being with us this morning for Daily Bible Time. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow morning.